Hi friends, this is Ben Kono with my smart team at Exit Realty First, bringing you another Wednesday weekly update. Just me this week. John is actually in Nashville at our company's convention. Every single year, a bunch of agents go and gather together. I would be down with John, but my wife is expecting a baby any day now, so chose to not be out of the state for this period of time. Well, I want to talk with you again about our 3 things we talk about every week. What's happening in our community, what's happening in our neck of the real estate industry, and then finally a real estate tip, and it's kind of a longer tip. So hold on for the end of the video. It's a good thing for you to know about for your family's safety. First though, let's talk about what's happening in our community. This week we have 2 really kind of exciting things. So first, my wife and I, when we were dating, we went to Goodwill and garage sales all the time. It was like our little date thing. We collected mugs like crazy. So if you are like me and you love grabbing those little fun trinkets like a coffee mug or whatnot, you should go to the Rummage Sale at the First United Methodist Church on Michigan Ave right in town here. It's on Thursday from 9 to 3, and really exciting, starting at 1 o'clock on that day, they have a $1 bag sale. So stuff a bag full and you'll only pay $1 for everything that's in it. But if you want the good stuff, show up earlier. And then next on Saturday, we have the All-Skate costume contest from 2:30 to 4:30. It's only $3 admission. You can check out their website for some more details on that. Finally, I want to talk to you, or next I guess, I want to talk with you about what's happening in our neck of the real estate industry. We're kicking off a season of gratitude. We're so grateful for an awesome year. We've helped almost 50 people buy or sell real estate, just the 3 of us on my smart team. And it's not just the 3 of us anymore. We just hired my sister Rachel, who moved up to cold Michigan from Texas and joined our wonderful smart team. She's going to be handling some of our client appreciation stuff that we do. If you buy a house from us, we would love to throw you a housewarming party. Along with later on, closer to Thanksgiving, we are going to invite everybody who bought or sold with us this year to my house to meet my newborn, and we're going to give you a pie to help you celebrate Thanksgiving. Finally, I want to wrap up talking about something that is very prevalent in the Jackson community and is a very important thing for homeowners, not just buyers or sellers, those who are looking to make a transition in that way, but people who are homeowners and have a family, have pets. It's something really important for you to know about. One really common thing in Jackson is radon gas. So radon is a radioactive, odorless, tasteless gas that's created as uranium is broken down in soil, in water, and in rocks in the ground. Radon in and of itself isn't harmful. As it's released, it's actually released into the atmosphere everywhere. The average level of radon is 0.4 picoraries, or however you say that word, per liter. But when that air, as it's released into your home, is concentrated, as radon kind of gathers in your house and the concentration rises, it can actually be pretty harmful for you. Even more so if you have one not so great life habit. So why is this important? Radon is a cancer-causing gas. So in the United States, about 2,800 people die from home fires every year, which is really sad. And then 3,900 die from drownings, 8,000 from falling in their house, 17.4 thousand die from drunk driving, either on either side of that equation. But 21,000 people die from lung cancer caused by radon gas every year. And crazy thing is, you don't know about it until you're suffering some of the consequences of it. So it's really important for you as a homeowner to know about this, especially if you spend a substantial amount of time in your basement. So my wife and I, when we moved into our current house, I had the radon gas level tested because we have 2 dogs. Our dogs are in a crate every night. They sleep in our basement, and radon is very is more concentrated in a basement than anywhere else in a house. So, how does radon get into the house? Like I said, it's created as stuff is breaking down, uranium is breaking down in the ground, so it seeps in through cracks, through the natural joints in the house where your wall foundation comes down, and then your floor, the cement floor in your basement meets the wall. There's a crack there. Radon can seep into your house through there, and then through cracks in your foundation. So if you have cinder blocks in the mortar, sometimes that mortar cracks. Radon can actually get into your house that way. And around your drain pipe, there's sometimes cracks or little gaps around your drain pipe or your water main coming into the house. Radon can seep into your house through those gaps too. And if your house is built on a crawl space, radon can come in all through the dirt in the crawl space and then seeps in to your entire house through all of the cracks in your floor. The final thing is radon can actually exist in your water. So if your water comes from the ground, if you have a well, then at times radon can be in that water, which is kind of a scary thing. I thought, oh my word, I could be drinking radon, but you're actually at a really low risk of being harmed by radon in your water. The big risk there is with radon seeping, being released into the air, and still you're inhaling it as you take a shower, or as you run water for dishes or whatnot. Radon can actually get into the air and you can inhale it that way. So what do we do? How do we mitigate radon in our house? The first thing is you need to know if you have a high radon level. So if you're going to buy or sell a house, and actually about every 2 years, you should pay for a radon test to be done. You can either buy a really simple kit, a charcoal kit that you put in your basement. It has specific instructions, and you can send it off to the state lab for it to be tested so you know your radon levels. Or there are actually electronic testing kits. So if you want to have a running radon level check, you can actually buy a radon test kit and keep it, or a radon electronic meter, and keep it in your house at all times. I personally recommend inspectors, for those who are buying a house, that use a radon test, an electronic meter test, and they'll test the radon before you even move in. If you do find that you have a radon level above a 4, that's cause for mitigation. A mitigation system is simple to install. A pipe goes down through your foundation into the ground below, typically through a sump drum, and then a fan is put inside of that pipe, and it actually sucks the radon out of the soil and puts it out into the atmosphere where it's not harmful to anyone. The final thing that's a really important element for you to know, the biggest way to put yourself at risk from radon: having high concentration, easy to mitigate. But if you're a smoker, you are at an amplified risk. Here's some just quick stats for radon harmfulness in those who smoke versus those who don't. 0.4, that's the normal amount of radon just in the atmosphere, not outside, not inside, just outside. Radon is all over. 1.3, that's the normal level of radon in a house. It can't drop, really. It's hard to get it below a 2. It's hard to get the radon out of your house when it's below a 2. Even at that level, 20 people in 1,000 who smoke would be at risk for lung cancer. Whereas if you don't smoke, you almost have no risk at that level. The next level that's notable is at a 2. A 2, again, is a little bit elevated, but it's still a normal level and isn't cause from the EPA standards. It's not cause for mitigation. But even at that level, if you smoke, 32 out of 1,000 people would get lung cancer from it, whereas only 4 out of 1,000 who don't smoke would get lung cancer. The next level that's notable is a 4. That's the level where we say you need to start mitigating radon. At that level, 62 out of 1,000 people who smoke will get lung cancer, whereas only 7, so less than 1% still. out of 1,000. 7 out of 1,000 people who don't smoke would be at risk for radon, for lung cancer due to radon gas. So double that, 8. 120 people out of 1,000 who smoke. So 1 in 10 would be at risk for lung cancer. Whereas at that level, it's still just 1.5%. So 15 out of 1,000 people who don't smoke would get lung cancer. At a 10, which is really elevated, I've only seen maybe 1 or 2 properties at a 10 for radon. 150 people, that's 15% of people would be at risk if they smoke for getting lung cancer, whereas only 18%, so less than 2% who don't smoke would be at risk for lung cancer, would get lung cancer. Final level, super high. If your radon is at a 20, 1 in 4 people who smoke will get lung cancer. Whereas if it's at a 20, only 36 out of 1,000. So still just 3.5% would get lung cancer. If you just moved and didn't get your radon level tested, my recommendation, my tip for today is to have your radon level tested. If you smoke and you haven't had your radon level tested, you need to do that. And it's not a later thing, that's a right now kind of thing. Radon is very common in Jackson. Some areas in the United States it's less common, but it's very common in our entire county. So Spring Arbor, Pleasant Lake, Brooklyn, everywhere in Jackson County, it's common to have radon. So if you're buying or selling, if you spend a substantial amount of time in your basement, or if you have loved ones who do, get your radon level tested and then have it mitigated by a qualified professional. If you're building a house, talk with your contractor about how radon could be mitigated even before, because it's going to save you money and it could save your life. Thanks so much for tuning in for another weekly update. We're so thrilled to be your realtors. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out to anybody at My Smart Team to start the conversation about radon. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.